Hello, young or old here, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about riding in the wet weather. So stay tuned and watch the intro. I planned to do this video for about this time of year as we're autumnal and headed into winter, but looking back at this year 2023 and the summer weather we've had, you know what, we've probably had more rain in the summer than we're going to get, but hey-ho. I do ride in the wet if I have to, but if it was like raining in the morning and it's going to be raining all day, I don't know what, I'll just give it a miss. It must be an age thing. As when I was younger, I was out in all weathers at one time or another. If it's a nice day in the morning and I'm going to go out for the day, but there's a chance of getting wet on the way back, that's not a problem. I'm on my way back home. I remember on one real hot summer day years ago, it was an absolute scorcher, and we went for a ride to Hunstanton. But what happens when we get very hot weather? Yeah, you guessed it, thunderstorms and a lot of rain. It just happened to catch us out about 10 miles from home, absolutely soaked. I always tend to ride with a textile jacket, which will keep a lot of the wet out. On a long ride or a tour, I will probably put my waterproof boots on just in case. I've got some textile trousers which I'll wear in cold weather, but in the warmer weather I'd actually prefer my Kevlar jeans. But then I always have a lightweight pair of waterproof trousers in the rear pocket of my jacket, just in case I need them. Now regarding these waterproof trousers, I don't like the ones with the zips in the lower legs, as I always tend to get the outer material stuck in the zip and end up wrecking it. The ones I use now are a lot more like flared trousers, but with big bits of Velcro, so you can actually wrap them around your leg and make them tighter to grip your boot. I just find them so much easier. It's bad enough with the rain on the outside of the visor, but even worse if you're all fogged up on the inside. And actually wet on the inside of my visor back last March when we was riding back from Kent. Actually, when you're riding in the rain, turning your head to the left and to the right briefly will help to actually clear the outside of your visor. Make sure your visor's got some form of anti-fog on the inside. There's various ways of doing it. Pinlock seems to be the more popular, but even they can give up. A tip for you here, pinlock will absorb water, so it becomes less effective. But this can be solved by just drying it out. A nice summer day, just put it outside, lift up the visor, or do the same but shove it in an airing cupboard. You know, a couple of days will restore your pinlock and make it like new again. Now let's look at our tyres. Make sure they are inflated correctly and make sure they've got plenty of tread on them. A question I always ask trainees is, what is the tread for? And the most common answer is grip. No, look at race bikes and cars. They're using slick tyres in the dry. And there's the clue. Tread is there to expel water. But even with good tread, we should still reduce our braking force. Yes, ABS will help, but if the bike has it, of course. But you know, do your bit and just go a bit easier on the brakes. Pay attention to road surfaces. Now, if you've only had a little bit of drizzle of rain, this can mix with all the dust and spent rubber from tyres and become a bit greasy, thus making it slippery. A little bit more rain, it can actually wash the road surface and make it a little bit better. The white lines in the road are made of a resin with glass beads which reflect the light, as they're meant to, but glass can be slippery when wet. Not always, but can be, so just be prepared. Well, we've got no rain today, but the roads are a little bit wet. We've had a lot of rain. As we can see, there are a lot of leaves everywhere, so that's something we've got to be a little bit careful of. We don't want to be riding on them. Okay, slowing down for the roundabout. We're going to be turning right. Slowing down, using both brakes. No leaves, no nothing. Nothing's coming. Off we go. Because you're going a little bit slower around the roundabout, obviously your lean angle is not as great. Here again, approaching a roundabout, starting to slow down a little bit earlier, just in case. See there in that lane we've got quite a bit of debris. Manhole and drain covers are made of metal, and here again they are slippery when wet. I see some riders perform a last minute swerve to miss the manhole cover. Please don't do this. If you notice it ahead of you, then a slight change in position means you will avoid it, but the last minute swerve is actually more dangerous than running over it in a straight line. Always avoid braking on a manhole cover, as this can also be a little bit risky. In autumn, the fall, watch out for those rotting leaves in the road, as the wet will make them slippery as they decay. Try to avoid them without the last minute swerves, but if you can't miss them, be as upright as you can. Use engine braking to slow down, but certainly do not brake on them. Make sure that you use your hazard perception skills to the max. Is that car going to pull out in front of you? We're not sure. So off the throttle, slow down. And this will give us a bit more time to react should they pull out. It will also give us more room and time to brake without the need of sharp braking. When approaching a junction, slow down earlier to avoid late braking, bearing in mind the white lines and fuel spillage. My advice for riding on a road that is totally waterlogged is just try not to do so. I will look for a place to shelter if possible. Aquaplaning is not a good thing. If there are any services, now might be time for a coffee. I've even pulled up and sat in a sheltered bus stop for 30 minutes to allow time for the water to drain off the roads before continuing my journey. Now your vision is going to be impaired, you will see that, but bearing in mind if yours is, that also mean other road users, theirs might be as well. So don't ride in other vehicles' blind spots. Make sure they can see you, they need to know you are there. You will use every control on the bike that you normally do, but just do it more smoothly. I.e. slower. Easy on the throttle, less braking force. Normally to stop pretty quickly we use 75% of the front and 25% of the rear, but in the wet it should be now on a 50-50 basis, but just apply them slower. Slower speeds everywhere, and I mean slower. There's no need to ride at a snail's pace, just be a little bit slower to allow you more time to deal with any potential hazard. A lot of bikes now have all sorts of electronic rider aids like ABS, traction control, rain mode, but don't just rely on them. You are the one in control. Use your rider skills to deal with the situations. Yes, it's good to have these aids as a backup, but I like to think of rider technique over bike technology. So new riders, don't just get into the habit of thinking, I don't need these skills, as my bike will do it for me. So I hope you found this content interesting. If you have, please do the ticks to like and subscribe. And as always, take care, ride safe, and bye for now.